5, we do have Haya Toys Pretty Women Mask version of Leatherface. So this is the exquisite mini series from Haya Toys again, and it does come with decent amount of accessories. Even though it is such a small figure, which is just about the size of my palm or slightly bigger, it does have decent amount Marvel Legends like articulation and the overall paint job, the detail, and again the paint scheme is really nicely done on this thing. Um, though even though it has a Marvel Legends like articulation with those small mini-sized ratchet kind of joint for the peg of the feet as well. It has a little bit of hard time standing since this is a small figure, which also means that it has a small feet for to make this guy stand on its own. So, as that said, it does come with decent amount of accessories. It does come with double open hands. It does come with extra chainsaw. It even does come with a base, which is only exclusive to this Haya Exquisite miniseries for Leatherface figures. So it is a great figure for its price point. I paid about 30 bucks ish around there for a single sized figure, which actually you can get a better 6-inch figures if you're more a fan of Marvel Legends. But again, Marvel and horror are somewhat completely different genres. So, yes, not a superhero. This guy's a horror slasher killer. So, yeah, but keep it in your mind. This guy's the smallest out of all the figures that I've gathered together for this video. Number 4, NECA's Ultimate Leatherface Action Figure. And of course, comparing this to previously shown Haya Toys figure, it's absolutely massive compared to each other. To the Haya Toys is much bigger. This guy is about slightly smaller than 4 inches. This guy stands about a little bit over 7 inches. And yes, it is heavier, bulkier, more detail into it. But does that mean Haya Toys lack in paint scheme when it comes to the comparison? No, Haya Toys has done a great job, but I like bigger figures. That's why I've placed this guy under 4th instead of giving it to the last, which is 5th. And it is really nicely done. Like the newly done face sculpt and compared to the 1.0 version of this guy was really, you can see a clear difference. I wish I do have the 1.0 version of this guy, but I don't, unfortunately, and I do very much prefer this version of the head instead of the firstly released one. The articulation actually is not as great as Hyatt Toys figure, but there's more like range of movement to it since it's in bigger size. And yeah, it lacks in articulation, but again, I'm more of a type of guy who just puts my figure in my shelf once I open them outside of the box after I film my review videos. And yes, I don't even usually put the accessories on their hand to avoid any type of scuff that I really hate to create. So, but yes, generally it's really nicely done. Not, doesn't have great articulation. Again, not as good as Haya, but the painting and the overall sculpting, it's very authentic to the movie, I guess. But it is not the best, not the most film accurate mask that I've seen so far. But it still is really nicely done. Especially the shade you can see. It looks like you cannot really see an eye, but there's actually a detail to the eyeball. Yeah, you can see it right there. And love the lips as well. And love how they have taken a great care with the hair, sculpting for the hair. This is in softer rubber material so that it's not as fragile as you think it is. So pretty decent job by NECA. Also does come with great amount of accessories, which my chainsaw broke since it was very fragile to put it on the hand. So yeah, just do be careful with that. Number 3, NECA's older series called Cult Classics line. So yes, this Leatherface is again from Cult Classics line, and it is an absolute amazing figure. I very much prefer Cult Classics figure compared to modernized what do you call it again? The Ultimate figures. Why? First of all, in my opinion, Ultimate Figures has too much problem when it comes to human-based figure, which does have both arms and legs as straightly standing from the ground, if you know what I mean. They always do have massive amount of scuff when it comes to wrist section. So every time you interchange the parts, there will be a scuff that you will create, and I really easily do get bothered with those. But cult classics, in my very opinion, this is just my opinion. I'm not here to compete with you, so just keep that in your mind. They do have much better sculpting and painting, in my opinion. They do have better wash, better weathering to the figure. It was very much more affordable. Of course, I shouldn't be comparing to the price point that they usually give to the figures nowadays compared to the older days, but still. And Cult of Classics figure are no longer continued; they're discontinued, so it's very much more valuable than Ultimate figures nowadays, and I do love it. It is very limited with articulation for sure, so that's a downside compared to Ultimate figure, Ultimate Leatherface in this video, but for this video. But still, the amount of detail and for the sculpting, the black wash you see, even this blood splatter detail, very amazing. Like it doesn't have like double jointed or even single jointed arm. It only moves swivel side to side for most of the joints, except for the head, which is in ball joint. But I still do think the head sculpt is actually authentic to the movie, and I honestly prefer this head sculpt compared to the NECAs. So that is a pretty good thing, in my opinion. Does look like it is off, especially the pose. It seems kind of funny once you put no chainsaw for the hand. It also does come with a chainsaw. And this diorama base is really nice, nicely included. Yes, and NECA 2006, so it's been 20 years now. Wow, it is a old figure. Really is a old figure. And the downside of Cult Classics figure is that you have to keep it in certain points so that you can keep the sculpting right, but you see how the sculpting is popping outwards to the back when I put the arms like that. But still, there's detail all the way inside. Look at these wash everywhere. Love the color of the pants. Again, this diorama is really high quality too. I just love these moving statue kind of figures compared to the like super actiony, tons of articulated figure. I do very much prefer highly sculpted figure. So yes, that is why I'm giving this guy on a third place. Now we're gonna go to the second place and then to the first place out of all these top 5 figures. Well, these last 2 figures that I'm gonna show now is what I have not been reviewing in my channel so far. Why? Because I take too much care about them and I don't even want to touch them myself once I put them in a shelf. So yeah, let me show you what it is. Second place, here we go. This is the Mezco Cinema of Fear version of Leatherface. So it is manufactured in 2008. I'm not sure if you can see, but yeah, slightly 2 years younger or newer. I don't know. I don't even know if that's a word compared to a Cult Classics figure. And this is more like stylized figure. So yes, it is somewhat authentic to the movie, but definitely not a movie accurate design at all. This is like stylized, cartoonish kind of figure. A reason why I love this so much more than whatever I've previously spoken, is the fact that this guy's just chunky. It is massive, you see, and it's wearing a legit like cloth as a costume. And I just hear something rattling inside. That kind of sucks. I don't know what it is, but nothing's broken from outside, so I don't think I mind too much about it. But either way, whatever. It's really nicely done. I love the cartoonish eye on this thing. It looks quite funny, and because of the how spiky the hair is and the bottom side of the mask is, it kind of reminds me of starfish. If you know what, if I don't know, can you see it? The three spiky hair pieces over there. But yeah, it's kind of cute in my opinion. Chubby, love it. And I was really surprised to see and open the inner the clothes section, and yeah, the detail you see from the arms over here leads all the way to the back. There was even a detail of this gigantic bandage at the backside of his skin. There's detail everywhere to his inner body. So it's not like the company just directly gave you this, putting the leather costume on there, and just expecting that no one will legit check the inner body so that they don't give a shit about its detail. It's not like that. It's like this is why I very much prefer the old like school figures. Like they have details everywhere, almost everywhere possible. And that's what I really love about those old school figures. They're very like, well made. And you can definitely tell how greatly the artist, whoever made this, taken has taken care of for the collectors who wants to get this. And yeah, obviously, I didn't put any accessories on the hand. It is very hard to put it in his hand, even after using a dryer, because it's a super solid piece. There's a chainsaw, there's a hammer, there's a knife, and there's this bucket full of guts and blood as an accessory. So hopefully, I will get to review this guy sometime in the future, but not anytime soon. I don't even want to touch this guy, honestly, but I am right now. Um, Either way, it is really nicely made. These weatherings you see very dirty. Love this thing. And yeah, I tied his apron again by myself, and it's in like this sticky. I don't know what you call this the sticky thing you put to attach the sticky patch. I don't know. Let me know what it's called in the comments. You know I don't know what I should call it. But yes, the boots lead all the way inside the pants, and there's like detail of the skin everywhere. It does have limited amount of articulation, but I think this guy has much better articulation compared to Cult Classics figure. It has swivels, three swivels at the leg, two swivels at the arm, and a whole big gigantic ball joint for the upper arm, ball jointed head. I think there was a articulation for the torso, maybe a swivel. I'm not so sure. I will have to check it when I do my review. And lastly, it's kind of obvious, you know where the big boy belongs to the very first place. This is the McFarlane's 18-inch or a quarter scale Leatherface action figure. It is massive. I do have some missing handle parts for the chainsaw, unfortunately, but everything else is perfectly fine on my end. And he is probably one of the most movie accurate designed figure that I've ever seen for the Leatherface, besides statues. But for an action figure, this is legit. And yeah, I just love this so much. Like, there's so much details into this. Looking at the head sculpt, like, it is just amazing. Even though there's a tiny light green painting at the upper eye section. I don't know why that's the case, but it's there. Like, the detail of the teeth is hella menacing. Do you see that? Yep, there we go. You can see the teeth. It's disgusting, man. And yeah, here is the motion activated sensor so that this guy makes a chainsaw sound once you press the button at the back, which I don't have battery inside right now. But the weathering on the chainsaw is really nicely done. And I'm not gonna go through too much depth into this figure right now because I do want to review it later on when I have a chance. But again, like the blood splash everywhere, it's really nicely done. The shoes, even though, yeah, there are some scuffs and little paint mistakes too, because this is a very old figure. And yeah, either way, it's really nicely done though. Well, this is the part where it's missing his chainsaw handle, but yeah, this is the back side of it. Really nice, the speaker section. Look at all the dry brushing for the clothing. Some are scuffs, but some are not. They're meant to be there. There are some nicely done dry brushing. And yeah, this apron is made in rubber, so just to be careful when you articulate the waist section, so you don't want to detach these parts together. And yeah, the pants, it's in dark navy-ish blue. It is just amazing. I love this so much. Size does matter. Size does matter. That's what Trendmaster used to say when they advertised Godzilla figure. Size does matter. This guy's chunky. He's heavy as hell. This guy was a little over a kilo from what I remember when I measured it a couple years ago. And yes, well, not the best articulation that this guy has, but this guy's more like a statue, and it is just awesome. Like the overall detail, it's very authentic to the movie. Love the weathering, the wash, the blood splatter on this thing. It's just so awesome. And I do love gigantic figures. And this is probably one of the most you know, big Leatherface figure that you can get out there. And this guy still hold up to its date, and it is a little expensive right now, since it is no longer continued again. And yeah, this is why I love older figures. You know, so much effort that those artists from the firm has given into them, and it is just very cool figure. So that was my top 5 Leatherface action figure. What do you call it? It's not really a review, but looking back to these things again, even though some of them I have not reviewed yet. But yes, again, it's really nicely done. Leatherface has to be one of my most favorite slasher movie killers. So yes, it's a really cool guys over here. If you do have a chance to pick these guys up, I highly do recommend it. Because this NECA figure, this Haya Toys figure, it is still available nowadays. But if you really do get a chance to pick the old cult classic by NECA, old Mezco's Cinema of Fear, and 18-inch McFarlane action figure, I highly recommend you to get them because, you know, like, they are on completely different level than what you get nowadays. Like, the amount of detail you see in real life, you have to see these guys in real life. They're really cool. And yeah, let me know in the comments what your most favorite Leatherface figures from your collection is. So yeah, anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and yeah, I'll come back with another review.